Welcome to the Practice Podcast, a show created by lawyers to help lawyers in life and business without all the complicated lawyer language. Let's welcome Bast Amron founders and your hosts, Jeff Bast and Brett Amron.
Hi, Jeffrey.
Hi, Brett. How are you feeling today on this Friday? We're recording on a Friday. We don't usually record on Fridays.
I know.
How do you feel about that?
I feel good. How about you?
I feel great.
Do you?
I'm happy.
Are you?
You know, I start Fridays with a swim. I'm feeling good. I love Fridays.
All right, we'll save that for another podcast.
Okay.
We're boring our guest already. He's like, look at him.
He's enjoying this. He's enjoying this. All right. Today, our special guest is Philip Herzberg. Philip is a lead financial advisor at Team Hewins, which is a wealth management firm with offices on opposite ends of the country in South Florida and the San Francisco Bay Area. He helps clients implement tax-efficient investment, retirement, and estate planning strategies. I'm going to rattle off, I think, some of his titles. He is a certified financial planner professional, certified divorce financial analyst practitioner, certified trust and financial advisor, and accredited estate planner designee. And I'm pretty sure I shortened that list because it just kept going on and on. He's also a regular Journal of Financial Planning columnist, which I'm a big fan of the Journal of Financial Planning. And he has authored or contributed to over 60 peer-reviewed estate, tax, and financial planning articles. He's been cited as an authority in numerous publications, including the Wall Street Journal. You've heard of that one? USA Today, CNBC, Morningstar, Miami Herald, South Florida Sun Sentinel, and many, many more. Welcome, Philip.
Thank you, Jeff and Brett. It's a privilege to be here.
Welcome. I would say qualified and certified.
Qualified
are two words
and certified, yeah.
Used to describe this man.
Yeah.
We're going to learn some things today. I feel like we're going to learn a lot.
What do all those things mean? All those certifications?
Well, I'm here to educate you and to inspire you. Certified Financial Planner, it's a rigorous program. There are a lot of financial advisors out there, but with the Certified Financial Planner designation, it's a requirement takes coursework related, and financial planning involves all aspects of somebody's life, in addition to the investment planning.
Right.
So it involves also an ethics component and experience requirement. And then the other designations build around the financial planning.
And I assume that you have to do updates or whatever CE, like in law it's CLE, but you have to do updates too. So
yeah, I love education and staying on top of all industry trends, and it really helps me. And as far as writing to others and also to work with clients that I have.
Cool.
So who out there do you think, like who needs a certified financial planner? Who should be looking to hire a certified financial planner? The type of person, like a description.
Well, anybody who needs help with not just their investments, but also in helping them invest according to their life goals. It involves far more than just looking at what their investment strategy looks like or how am I going to get the best returns. I mean, we try to help them as well, help clients as well accomplish that goal. But it's important also to look at how a client is doing with their cash flow. And if a client is in a state where they may be struggling or not maybe saving as much as they would like, that would be an example of somebody who needs a certified financial planner. And then
isn't it anyone with money?
Oh, not just anybody. Not just anybody with money. I think everybody needs a certain amount of financial planning and could do better in some aspect of their lives. Right. It's important for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's people who are young, who are just starting out, right, to lay the framework and then fill in sort of the buckets as they go, hopefully, right? Mm-hmm. People who are more well established, a little older, or people looking for a slight change, right, or to plan for a particular event, whether it be my kids are going to grow up and go to college, I want to retire at some point, right? I would think that there's different people, different stages of life that may need a certified financial planner.
No, absolutely. And the best time to plan is well ahead in advance when changes or adjustments could be made in their lives, and people could be on their way to charting their paths and their futures, their families' futures.
Yeah, I would imagine that a lot of people don't realize they need this help until, not that it's too late, but after they should have already been getting it. In other words, 10 years later than they should have started working with a planner, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of what you do involves, long-term strategy. And so it's better to adopt the strategy early.
And it's important to come, as soon as you can in advance, because a lot of times if you're late in the game, sometimes people will have less choices as far as what they can or can't do.
Yeah. So it's really, I guess, anyone in some kind of transition, getting divorced, getting married, starting a new job, trying to retire, having kids, anything that's happening in their life that they want to plan for.
It's in the name.
Yeah. Financial planning.
Yeah.
Right. Well, but I think a lot of people think, I can do this myself. I can invest in stock or whatever.
Well, they can.
You can.
Right. If you just want to do day trading, you want to do it on your own, you want to buy a particular stock or whatever, you can do that. I mean, now there's different platforms like Wealthfront or whatever, but that's one aspect to me, right?
It's
I mean, explain to everyone about what a financial planner offers as opposed to just, hey, I'm going to go on Wealthfront and put some money in there.
Well, a financial planner offers an investment strategy that is, aligned with their goals and their family's goals and what they want to do in the future.
Right.
Going on an online platform and trading stocks sometimes without, just on a whim or just basically when you're not sure of how the investments are going to perform long term, if you're just looking at it from what am I going to gain out of it on a weekly or monthly basis, and you're not sure of what the investment is going to do for you. And nobody can predict what any one investment is going to do over a given week or month or even a year. That's speculating right there. So that's real. And, speculating is almost like gambling.
Right.
So that's why you need the experience and the knowledge of a financial planner alongside other professionals who work closely with them, because that lends to a better experience for those people who need help and have life events like a divorce or death of a loved one.
Right.
So given sort of the state of everything going on in the economy, are there some sort of things or strategies you're employing with some of your clients, not to give away trade secrets on this podcast, but generally speaking, that you would tell clients
buy low, sell high.
Right, buy low, sell high. But, stay put, long term, maybe get out of some things, because it seems like it's pretty erratic. Any given day, I think the market today is up 700 or 800 points, but tomorrow, or Monday, it could be down 500 points,
We just don't know. It depends on a person's time horizon and who we're speaking with. But generally speaking, because sometimes you could be speaking to somebody who may not have much time in their lives, who doesn't have any legacy goals. But generally speaking, within a year to few years time frame, maybe even up to 5 years, we don't know what the markets are going to do. We can't predict. But in terms of a long-term approach, 10 years or more, it's important to remain, to an extent, invested in the markets, because generally speaking, and this is based on history and academic studies, the stock markets, both the global stock and bond markets, have produced positive results, and that has resulted in growth in the long term.
Right.
So that's the take-home message there.
Right.
Now, if one were to be saving for an important goal, like to plan for a wedding or to fully pay for a house or even a down payment, a 20% down payment of a house, if they needed that money within the next few years, then generally speaking, they should probably not invest in a more growth to aggressive manner in the stock market. So that it's important to seek the counsel of a financial planner when making choices like that.
Yeah. And I always find that when the market's down, I just try not to look at my balances every day. If you look at them every day, you're just going to drive yourself crazy. Yeah. So I try not to look at it, at least not every day, just less frequency.
Yeah.
So that's a long-term play.
Yeah,
right? That's
because I'm invested for long-term, right? Because I don't want to look at little dips. Same thing with gains. I also don't want to celebrate gains and go, I made all this money. I'm going to go spend it, buy a new car or whatever. Yeah, I think it requires...
It was oddly specific.
Patience. I know, because, my car is old.
And sometimes that's also where a financial planner comes into play, because there's a certain amount of behavioral guidance that we can provide people who don't have the tendency to be as patient. So they need an objective voice, being able to educate them and keep them on track and accountable for their goals.
Right. So shifting gears a little bit, you mentioned to me that Team Hewins has a unique feature that a lot of wealth management firms don't have. What is that again?
So we help women as well as others who are undergoing life transitions.
Okay.
Is that divorce?
Divorce,
Okay.
Death of a loved one,
Okay.
a widow,
Death
widower.
of a I got you. Okay.
Right. Okay. And that's something is that one of the primary ways you interact with attorneys, and do you do a lot of work with lawyers and law firms?
Absolutely. We do. We work with all clients, especially with those who are undergoing a divorce or death of a loved one. We partner very closely with estate planning attorneys, CPAs, as well as family law attorneys.
Okay.
There are also a number of other professionals we may also seek guidance with as well.
And what about attorneys as clients? Do you?
Yes, we also
I would
have a
imagine
number of attorneys as
are
clients.
Terrible clients.
Actually, they might be really good clients, right?
Yeah, I think I'm a good client because I don't bug my wealth manager frequently.
I think they're. Yes.
I guess I should ask him maybe
you might
before I
wanna-
decide that I'm a good client.
I've had the privilege of helping many attorneys over the years, and they are wonderful to work with.
Good. That
was a great answer.
That is such a
wow
answer for a lawyer's podcast.
Hopefully all of your attorney clients are listening. You can tell us the real story after. Yeah, I would think professionals, owners of businesses, life transition, but that's an interesting sort of niche. It's like a niche, if you will, right? Helping people in life transition.
Absolutely. As far as the other area, group of people that I love helping are business owners. All types of business owners, and they have a different set, a lot of them of challenges, wealth management challenges. A lot of them are successful professionals, but sometimes they may, when it comes to their personal matters, maybe they're not as organized as they would like to be. So that's where we come into play, and we help them make decisions about maybe executive compensation, their stock option planning, estate planning, ramping up savings for retirement, all sorts of different strategies and different retirement plans we could help them save money on taxes with, as well as take advantage of tax advantage growth. So there are a lot of ways we work with business owners, and I enjoy helping them as well.
What are some of it's been a unique environment, to say the least, over the last few years, right? So what are some of the challenges you've seen from some of your clients, given what's transpired over the last couple of years?
Why something's happened over the last few years?
No. Just throwing that out there.
Well, notably in 2020, with the onset of the COVID pandemic, that's a global health crisis. We saw there were clients who were all of a sudden in a panic. It seemed like many of them were secure in their retirement planning. And all of a sudden, when the stock markets went down 30, 35%, a lot of them were very concerned and scared of what their retirement was going to look like. Do I need to work additional years?
Right.
Am I going to be okay given what's going on? Back then people just were frantic and didn't know what to do. So that right there, I think we've gotten past a lot of that. And people are, now are situated in this new normal type of environment. But that was concerning for a little while. And then even with working with attorneys, and we saw a lot of this last year at Team Hewins, and there are a lot of people who at the time, maybe seeking the services of a financial planner for the first time, didn't get their estate planning documents in order. And that's something, especially given, the pandemic and everything else, that's something we also need to address with our clients as well. And something that we do, we ensure that we refer them to an attorney and make sure they draft and execute their basic set of documents, in addition to anything else they may need, maybe business related, a buy-sell agreement, or they need to update it. Things have gone on in their lives.
Yeah, I would imagine that during those chaotic times or times of uncertainty, really, that you sort of adopt a role as a therapist, maybe more so than advisor, just calming your clients down.
Yeah, and sometimes a lot of clients seek us or seek our guidance just to be a sounding board and to reassure them that they're doing the right thing and staying invested in the market and not making any drastic changes to their investment mix or not wanting to go through with that. So we talk it over with them. And after speaking with us, a lot of times many of them feel like they have some clarity and better control over the situation.
Right. Are a lot of wealth managers compensated on a sort of transactional basis? So is there an incentive for wealth managers to advocate or encourage more transactions, more buying, more selling?
As far as the industry is concerned, there is sometimes with a majority of firms, financial institutions out there, there's a mix where there is fee-based arrangements with investments, as well as a component maybe where there's sales of securities and insurance products. As far as the type of firm that I work for what's called a fee-only financial planning firm. So we don't sell any stocks or securities or insurance products whatsoever. So we don't have any conflict of interest, and we can serve as a fiduciary to our clients and act in their best interest. So they have the assurance that we're making decisions that's solely in their best interest, and we only get paid by the fees that our clients pay us. There's no other third-party payment of fees or providers that give us any compensation for anything that we do.
Right. And so that's unique because other advisors, when they encourage their client to buy a certain insurance product or a certain fund or something, they get a commission on that.
It is possible they can get a commission. That's where a lot of times the client, it's incumbent upon them to ask the advisor, and they should ask this, are you getting paid in any way or compensated for making this recommendation?
Right.
Those are the backside fees that are not prevalent, right? Like you said, they may be getting a fee from whatever fund or whatever entity that you're investing in.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's something we do not have at the firm I currently work at, and we're a strictly fee-only model where there's none of that. I worked previously, the first firm or two that I worked at, there were commissions, and so I'm familiar with how it works.
So you still will put your clients into an insurance product, you just don't get a commission for that. Is that right? I mean,
we work as far as insurance is concerned. We do review policies. We cover insurance needs. That's a part of financial planning with clients. It's an important part. We make sure that they have coverage if needed. What we do with the insurance aspect is we refer clients to an independent insurance advisor who we'll work with closely with, so that independent insurance advisor, not affiliated with any one insurance company, will be able to provide the client with the best possible solution for their needs.
And then you're able to help the client evaluate which is the best product, and you don't have a fee on the line. So like I'm always, when I'm talking to an insurance person, I can never get comfortable because I feel like, okay, they just want to sell me the highest, the most valuable product because they're going to make a fee. And I don't begrudge them for that. I understand it. I mean, it's just natural, but how do I get an objective view on which is the right product for me? So unless you have someone like you involved, it's really difficult to discern that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's important to be able, the insurance professional that we refer to, by virtue of the fact that they do not work for any one insurance company, that they will seek out the best possible solution for the client, and with our oversight, really, should help give the clients assurance that they're not going to be sold a product simply or that pays the insurance agent the highest commission.
I like that.
Yeah, I mean, insurance is a just brilliant industry.
Yeah.
Like, it scares the crap out of you if you don't have it, but then what are the percentage chances that you're going to need it, and you spend all this money on the premiums, and you have insurance for everything.
It's the only product that everyone buys and never wants to use.
Right.
Like you buy this hoping to never need it.
And how do you know truly what the cost should be?
Right.
Like they tell you what it is, but you don't know. I mean,
yeah. See, that's why you need someone like Philip.
Exactly.
Yeah, in large, yes. But that's to identify a product as opposed to like, what's the real market? What's the value? How much should be paid for this? You know what I mean? That's more difficult. I mean, that's set by the insurance companies, typically.
So, we talked about before, when should somebody work with you? And we have thousands and thousands, maybe millions of listeners who are young lawyers who
Listener.
maybe they don't have
Singular listener. Yeah.
a wealth manager. But I imagine someone who doesn't have a big savings calls you up. There's not that much you can do. So how does somebody start working with someone like you before they've accumulated wealth so they can do it, so they can start accumulating wealth? Is there a long-term approach to working with a wealth manager?
Sure. The firm I'm currently at, we do have, even though we typically work with those who have $1 million or more in investable assets, we also have a program where those who are saving and in growth mode, we could work with, within the next 3 to 5 years, we could work with them on their financial planning and oversee their investments until they get to a level where they're closer to that. So there is a way. But in addition to that, and just in general, there are a lot of different hourly financial planners out there. One made, if one is comfortable virtually, working with one towards those goals. There are some services out there, nationwide, who also may have some people locally that offer services for people who can get help with their financial planning for their future and get on track. But it's just, there are ways I think people can help themselves and get quality guidance.
Right. I would think it's call now. Operators are standing by.
No. But stay away from that.
Right. Geographically, do you work with people everywhere? Because you guys have offices South Florida and Northern California. So.
Yeah, we can see people in person in our offices in South Florida, in both Miami and Boca Raton.
But great locations, by the way. It's perfect.
Thank you.
Yes. Brett is from. I shouldn't say from.
No.
Brett went to high school. How about that? Brett went to high school in Boca Raton.
Only for 2 years.
Okay.
He's a Boca boy.
You're going to throw that
He's
on
a Boca
the air?
boy.
No.
2 years makes you a Boca boy.
No, please. Please.
Yeah.
I work really, anyway. We can move on. Nobody cares. The listener doesn't care.
We work with clients nationally. We're in addition to we'd love to meet everybody in person. Part of the financial planning process is getting to know our clients well, but we can work with people on Zoom and fully remotely and have clients as well. So we're very comfortable with that approach too.
Are the offices down here more recent, or is that you guys ahead of the times and opened these offices some time ago down in Miami?
We've had Miami offices for a while.
Okay.
So previously it was 801 Biscayne. We're at 4400 Biscayne Boulevard. And then the offices in Boca we've had for also a while. That's on 2255 Glades Road. It's right off Glades Road exit. So it's very convenient.
Yeah. So San Francisco is the home base. Is that right? Okay.
That is, the headquarters is there. Nice offices in the city as well as Redwood City as well. I've been out there. Redwood City is closer to where Apple and
very pretty
Meta are. Yes.
Northern California is a nice spot.
So, Philip, one thing that I was thinking in parallel between what you do and what we do is it's critical to our service to establish trust with our clients. And most of our clients don't have the luxury of a long lead time. So they're kind of thrust into needing us. They need us and they need us now. But for you, it's a longer term play. Do you have any sort of thoughts on how do you establish trust with a client?
Well, trust is built, I think, over the long term. It's really, I know in terms of law or the estate planning attorneys or bankruptcy attorneys for that matter as well, or any commercial work, you need to right from the get-go make a client feel like that they are trusting you right away. And it's really the same principles and values, even though you may not have that time period.
Right.
It's always doing the right thing by the client in terms of the ethical, to act with integrity, to always put your best foot forward, to deliver excellent service, and try to give objective guidance as well.
Yeah.
And those are the same principles that I follow, and I lead with. I try to lead with character, and I think through that, the client over time feels like they can trust you in the decisions that you make. So, but it's a byproduct of all those attributes rolled up into one.
Yeah, I think, at least for us, I'm sure this is similar for you. When clients come in, depends on how they got to you, right? If there is a referral for someone they trust to you, that's going to immediately give some level of trust based on the referral. And then it's incumbent upon you and us with our clients, same thing, to show them that, number one, you have their best interest in mind, right, initially. And that can be just sort of how you convey what it is you want to do for them or what can you do for them. And showing that you kind of know what you're doing, right? I mean, that's at least, sort of baseline, I think, initially to try to get their initial trust. And it may be, I don't know, tell me or tell us, sometimes your clients come in and dip their toe and kind of say, all right, I have a few things that I want you to kind of work on. And then as they trust you, do they kind of give you more or? Yeah, absolutely. I think it's, a lot of times people come to you and it's same in both of our practices. There's something that has prompted them to come to you. It's not just in my firm. It's not just maybe just the investments. It's a bunch of different planning issues. And it's, and your clients face similar challenges. So initially they come in, they're worried, they have concerns. So it's very important right from the outset to make sure that, because they're not going to be able to open up and share what's going on in their lives or be able to trust you with giving you responsibilities and everything. So it's important, right from the outset to show that you're a competent professional and one who is trustworthy, because they're going to shut down if you can't do that or... Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, I also think it's easier when your interests are aligned, and I think like economically anyways, like so for yours, your fees, the more valuable their estate is worth, the more, the higher your fees are. So when they make money, you make money. And so we try to do that as often as we can, but we can't always, it's sometimes difficult for lawyers to align their interests with the clients economically. Sure. So some lawyers, more time it takes, the more money they make, and the clients don't want, want to spend less money. And so, on the contingency fee arena where we do a lot of work in that space, our interests are aligned. And so we always prefer that, but you can't always,
that's not always
set it up, the structure that way. So
as long as you try to explain that to the client and they know you have the best interest at heart, I think they'll be able to understand that. I think many of them, have an understanding, especially those who have worked with attorneys before, of how, the fees work and how compensation works for you. As far as we're concerned, just small clarification here, but we charge based on my firm, Team Hewins, investment assets under management. It's a tiered approach. If, more investments, assets under management, over a certain threshold, there is a reduction in the fee.
Oh, okay.
But that's how it, not necessarily not money in an estate, but
and it's a percentage of assets under management.
Right.
And we're still on the same side of we're still, just like Jeff said, we're still on the same side of the table as the clients. If they're not making as much, if their portfolio value has gone down, we're not taking as high as a fee.
Right. But you're saying at higher levels, your fee declines. Even you're making more, but at a lower rate.
Declines at a percentage on a percentage basis. Right.
Well, that's good. Approach. I guess that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure the clients like that, because then when they hit those high levels, that means they've made a lot of money. And they're saving on the fee.
But they just like the fact that they're making money. Only at a certain point in time, maybe they're not even looking at the fee.
Yeah, that's true. Good point. I like that. I like the sound of that.
Right. So are you from here or no?
Pretty much. I'm almost a native South Floridian. I moved here when I was 3.
Almost.
Just like Jeff.
Almost a native.
Well, what does almost mean? What does that mean?
I moved here from New York when I was 3. So, and I lived here all my life except for undergraduate years.
So you guys are both New Yorkers.
But I thought, No, I'm going to go native. I think you two have a lot in common. Jeff is native, like native.
Native. Born and bred, as was my father.
Right?
Born and bred.
Unicorn. Jeff's a unicorn. For a lot of reasons. But in this case, he's second generation Miami.
Wow. That's incredible.
Unheard of.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
You should be.
Are you?
Yes.
All right. Well, that's good. That's good for you.
I love where we live. We live in paradise.
Philip,
paradise. This has been fun. We really enjoyed the time. If you like this episode, please give us a 5-star review. Follow us. Share us with your friends and family.
Contact information will be in the show notes.
Philip's contact information is in the notes. Please reach out to Philip for some financial advice.
Yes.
And we will see you next time. Nelson, thank you.
Thanks, Nelson. Thank you, sir.
Thanks,
I appreciate you having me on the show, Jeff and Brett.
Thanks for being here.
For more information on this show and other resources, visit fastamron.com and connect with us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram @FastAmron.